Hello everyone and welcome to the History Bombs live stream history quiz on this day, the 1st of May 2020. Happy Labor Day if you're in America. Happy 1st of May if you're anywhere. Today we're going to do a fun quiz all about, believe it or not, history. We have 3 rounds and we have 6 questions in each round. And there are going to be some prizes. So there are 2 ways you can take part in this quiz. The first way is just to get a piece of paper and a pen and to go along. I'm going to read out the questions and give you some multiple choice answers, and you can just go through with me and you can record your answers on a piece of paper, and then I'll do the answers at the end and leave a comment to tell me what you got. Alternatively, if you want to be in with a chance of winning some sweet History Bombs merchandise, you can do it the proper way. But to do this, you're going to need a second device, I think. Oh, well, you're either going to be on a computer with 2 screens open, or a laptop and a computer, or a tablet and a laptop and computer is the same thing, sorry. A laptop and a phone, sorry. So you can maybe watch the video on the laptop and then do the quiz on your phone. Now, in the video description below, there's a link. If you follow that link, it'll take you to a course on the History Bombs website. Just put in your name and email address, and that will give you access to the quiz questions online. Now, yeah, if you do it that way, then we will see your results and we will give the winners some prizes. The prizes you can win today, the sweet History Bombs merch available, is a History Bombs mug, which says History Bombs on one side and warning, I will blow your mind on the other. It's a beautiful mug. Also, we have stickers. We have warning, I will blow your mind stickers. And we have presenter t-shirts. Not this one's mine, but you can have the very same t-shirt yourself. And we will give the 3 top prizes, the 3 best people, the one of each. So you'll get a sticker, or maybe a few stickers if we're feeling generous, a mug and a t-shirt. So to be in with a chance to win that great deal, you can make sure you subscribe by clicking the video description link below, and then you can join in. Otherwise, just do it the old-fashioned way, and that's fine too. So without further ado, it's probably time to get into this quiz, isn't it? The only other thing to say is, if you are doing this online, if you go to the video description, click on that link and then do the quiz online, then we only take, the way the system is set up is that it only takes your first answer. So make sure you are really certain of your choice before you click the check and next button. So yeah, that's just worth keeping in mind. So yeah, I'm going to ramp up the tension with a little bit of cool music. Is that going to work? I don't know. Hope so. Here we are. We're building the tension. It's getting very exciting. So 3 rounds, 6 questions in each round. The first round is about pandemics. Very topical. The second round is about historical hobbies. So things that people got up to away from the stuff that they're really best known for. And the third is called One Take Wonders, and it's all about the one take. So if you know the one takes well, then you should do well in that round. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit and enjoy it as well. So let's have a look at your comments. Labor Day, ooh, music. Yes, music, it's a thing. And if you can't see the questions on the mobile, that's difficult. I'm not sure quite why not. Let's have a look and see if anybody's actually able to get on this course. Hopefully you can. Let's have a look. I can have a look on my website here. Oh, great, yeah, brilliant. Loads of people, 100 people on the app already. Well done, guys, nice hustle. Great, well, I'll give you 1 or 2 more minutes to join the app if you want to, and that is to be in with a chance to win the History Bombs merchandise and bragging rights for life. So it's all going to be good. Right, I'm feeling quite quizzy. I think we should get on with it, and let's give it a go, shall we? I'm going to take the music down a little bit. Thank you, Grape Juice Horror. I think that's a super chat. And bonjour to you as well. Comment ça va? Thank you for your comments. Right, hello from Canada. Hello, Canada. Hi, Robin. Okay, let's get involved, shall we? We are going to start the first round. And I'll just for the last time before we start, if you would like to take part using the online quiz, then you have a chance to win some History Bombs merchandise. You can win a mug, stickers, amazing stickers, and even a presenter t-shirt, just like this one. So you can be as cool as me. Imagine that, which isn't very hard, let's be honest. Right, okay, I think that's about enough time. We are going to get busy with this quizzy, and we're going to kick off with round 1, which is all about pandemics. Very, very fitting, I feel. So, if everyone's got a pen and paper, if everyone's on the app, here we go. Round 1, pandemics. Question number 1. At the end of World War I, in the spring of 1918, a deadly flu virus spread around the world and ultimately killed as many as 50 million people, far more than the 17 million who had died during World War I itself. The pandemic became known as the Spanish flu, but which country recorded the first outbreak of the flu on the 11th of March 1918? Was it A, France, B, Britain, or C, USA? Remember, if you are doing this online, you only have 1 chance at each question, so make sure you pick wisely. Which country recorded the first outbreak of the Spanish flu on the 11th of March 1918? A, France, B, Britain, or C, USA? Okay, next question. Christopher Columbus was at the forefront of European colonization of the Americas in the 15th century. The colonialists took with them diseases such as smallpox, measles, and the bubonic plague, which ultimately killed up to 90% of the Native American population. Really, really extraordinary. Which nationality was Christopher Columbus? Was he A, Spanish, B, British, or C, Italian? Which nationality was Christopher Columbus? A, Spanish, B, British, or C, Italian? Okay, question 3. In 1347, which pandemic was responsible for killing 1/3 of the global population? 1347, and the years immediately before and after it. Pandemics used to go on for a long period of time. So whenever you see a date for global pandemics a while ago, it's just a kind of ballpark. It was going on for a while. This one killed 1/3 of the global population. Was it A, Great Plague of London, B, the Black Death, or C, the Justinian Plague? And yeah, I would say don't put answers in the comments as well. That's not going to be, I mean, you can. There's no guarantee that you're right, I guess. So yeah, but maybe just do it online and keep the answer for yourself. Question 4. The first cholera pandemic in 1817 originated in Russia and was spread by which of the following? A, the Silk Road, B, the British Navy, or C, the Russian Army? The first cholera pandemic, 1817, it was the first of 7 cholera pandemics which occurred over the next 150 years. It originated in Russia and was spread by which of the following? A, Silk Road, B, British Navy, or C, the Russian Army? Everyone's got that one, hopefully. Okay, moving on. Question number 5. During the Great Plague of London, which animals were killed because they were thought to transmit the disease? A, dogs and cats, B, foxes and bats, or C, horses and donkeys? During the Great Plague of London, which animals were killed because they were thought to transmit the disease? A, dogs and cats, B, foxes and bats, or C, horses and donkeys? There you go. An interesting question there. And finally, the last question in the pandemics round. I'll run through them just one more time quickly when we finish this. In 165 AD, Roman troops returned from war with a deadly disease, possibly smallpox. This caused the Antonine Plague and killed as many as 60 to 70 million people. Which Roman emperor was killed by this disease? Was it A, Hadrian, B, Titus, or C, Marcus Aurelius? There is a bit of a clue here in the name, but you have to know the full name of the Roman emperor in question to get that connection. So, Antonine Plague, it killed 60 to 70 million people around 165 AD when Roman troops returned from war. Did it kill A, Hadrian, B, Titus, or C, Marcus Aurelius? Okay. Right, I will run through. Hope you're getting on all right with the quiz so far. I'll just run through those 6 questions one more time. The Spanish flu, so named, originated or was first reported in which country? This is question 1. Was it A, France, B, Britain, or C, USA? Question 2, Christopher Columbus, responsible for spreading many diseases through his conquests to America. Which nationality was Christopher Columbus? Was he A, Spanish, B, British, or C, Italian? Question number 3, in 1347, which pandemic was responsible for killing 1/3 of the global population? Was it A, the Great Plague of London, B, the Black Death, or C, the Justinian Plague? A, Plague of London, B, Black Death, or C, Justinian Plague? Question number 4, first cholera pandemic in 1817 was the first of 7 over 150 years. It originated in Russia and was spread by which of the following? A, the Silk Road, B, the British Navy, or C, the Russian Army? Question number 5, the Great Plague of London, which animals were killed because they were thought to transmit the plague? Was it A, cats and dogs, B, foxes and bats, or C, horses and donkeys? Question number 6. In 165 AD, Roman troops returned from war with a deadly disease, possibly smallpox, led to the Antonine Plague, which killed 60 to 17 million people. Which Roman emperor died of the plague? Was it A, Hadrian, B, Titus, or C, Marcus Aurelius? Cool. Hope you enjoyed that one. Right, yeah, before we move on, I'll just give a quick shout out to the History Bombs Instagram page, which not that many people follow, but you definitely should. And actually you have a vested interest because the latest post on the Instagram account has a lot to do with the questions that we've just answered. So you might want to check that out. Instagram.com/historybombs. And we release lots of behind the scenes content as well as fun history facts and all sorts of good content. So check that out. Instagram.com/historybombs. Right, let's move on if everyone's ready. Comments seem to be okay. People who've been online, they've got between, I can see a 5 out of 6 from fella Mo16, nicely done. Catherine Gonzalez, 3 out of 6. John Patrick, 4 out of 6. 100% from the Gaming Viking. Impressive, the Gaming Viking. Well done, everyone. Right, let's move on to the next batch of questions. These questions are called historical hobbies, and they're all about the stuff that famous historical people did that you might not know about. So it's not the obvious stuff. but it's not too cryptic or weird. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something. Here we go. Round 2, historical hobbies. Question 7. Winston Churchill was most famous for his role as Britain's brave and stoic Prime Minister during World War II. But which artistic pursuit did he enjoy throughout his life? Was it A, opera singing, B, painting, or C, ballet dancing? Winston Churchill, the most famous for his role as Britain's brave and stoic Prime Minister during World War II, but which artistic pursuit did he enjoy throughout his lifetime? A, opera singing, B, painting, or C, ballet dancing? Okay, moving on. Question 8. Arthur Conan Doyle is most famous as the author of Sherlock Holmes, but which sport did he help to popularise? Was it A, skiing, B, football, or C, croquet? Arthur Conan Doyle is most famous as the author of Sherlock Holmes, but which sport did he help to popularise? A, skiing, B, football, and C, croquet. Okay, moving on for question 9. Oh, there we go. Jane Austen is one of Britain's favourite authors, but which of the following activities did she partake in when not writing? Was it A, arm wrestling, B, fencing, or C, brewing beer? Jane Austen, one of Britain's favourite authors, but which of the following activities did she partake in when not writing? A, arm wrestling, B, fencing, or C, brewing beer? Okay, give you a couple more seconds on that one. So moving on then to question number 10. John Montagu, 4th Earl of Sandwich, was a British statesman best known for inventing the sandwich. True story. But what did he do in his spare time? Was it A, gambling? Was he B, a novelist, or C, a playwright? John Montagu, 4th Earl of Sandwich, British statesman, very famous for inventing the sandwich. But what is he also known for? Was he A, into gambling, B, a novelist, or C, a playwright? Okay. Moving on then from the Earl of Sandwich. Question 11. George III is best known for going mad and losing the United States of America during the American Revolution. But as a young man who was actually very intelligent, what was he particularly keen on? What was a particularly keen interest of George III as a young man? A, brewing beer, B, astronomy, or C, ballet dancing? George III. I don't know if anybody's seen Hamilton, but he's kind of a big deal in that, and he sings lots of extraordinary songs. But he was actually really sharp as a young man, very intelligent, and had many interests, as many young educated men did of the time. A, brewing beer, B, astronomy, or C, ballet dancing. And finally, the last question in this round, question 12. Aloysius Anthony Kelly became famous in America in the 1920s and 30s for which lofty hobby? A, tightrope walking, B, skydiving, or C, pole sitting? Aloysius Anthony Kelly became famous in America in the 1920s and 30s for which lofty hobby? A, tightrope walking, B, skydiving, or C, pole sitting? Good stuff. There we are. That is the end of the second round. I hope you got on well with that. I will just do a quick recap on the 6 questions there. So question 7 was Winston Churchill, obviously famous for being Britain's Prime Minister during World War II. But what did he also enjoy doing in his spare time? A, opera singing, B, painting, or C, ballet dancing? Arthur Conan Doyle, question 8, is most famous as author of Sherlock Holmes, but which sport did he help to popularise? This is towards the end of the 19th century, and he was pioneering in this particular sport. A, skiing, B, football, or C, croquet. Question number 9, Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, all of that great stuff. But which of the following did she partake in when not writing? A, arm wrestling, B, fencing, C, brewing beer. Really interesting lady, Jane Austen. It's one of our less popular one takes, but go watch it because it's a really good video and you learn lots about it. She was an amazing lady. She didn't actually earn that much at all during her lifetime. Her books weren't particularly popular. Well, they were a bit popular, one or two of them were. And she didn't write under her own name. So it was only after her life that she became much more famous. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on about Jane Austen. Right, 10, John Montagu, Earl of Sandwich, British statesman, best known for inventing the sandwich, but what is he also known for? A, gambling, B, novelist, or C, playwright. Question 11, George III, known for going mad and losing America, but what was he particularly keen on as a young man? A, brewing beer, B, astronomy, or C, ballet dancing. And 12, Aloysius Anthony Kelly became famous in America in the 1920s and 30s for which lofty hobby? Aloysius Anthony Kelly, famous in America in the 20s and 30s for A, tightrope walking, B, skydiving, or pole sitting is C. Okay, looking at the comments. Oh, Gaming Vikings down to 4 out of 6 on that one. Sorry about that. But 100% from Flynn and Theo. Well done, you guys. Impressive. Yeah, looking good. I've got a couple of pictures here actually from that last round to go with the answers, but I don't think I'm doing the answers yet, am I? So you'll have to wait to the end for those. Right. Okay, let's crack on. It seems like you've done pretty well. And the last, yeah, well done, everyone. Got 5 out of 6 from Tsar Nicholas II, got 5 out of 6. Well done, Tsar. Impressive. Catherine's seen Hamilton, so have I. Very good, isn't it? Yeah, I'd like to do something. It would be cool to do a History Bombs Hamilton thing at some point. That would be cool. Definitely it'd be cool to do an American Revolution video. Yeah, when the quarantine's over, hopefully we can go back and make some cool videos for you guys. By the way, at the moment, if you are a student or if you're a teacher and you're looking for cool history resources, do check out historybombs.com. We've got a special offer at the moment, so you can join up for a student account for £5 or $6 for this whole term, for the rest of this academic year. And I think it's £20 or $25 for a teacher account. The teacher account comes with all videos, activities, answer banks, everything's included. And the student accounts just have the videos, quizzes, and some learning sections as well. So yeah, it's a really cool way to learn history. We've got videos on 7 different topics. It's great if you're aged between kind of 11 and 15. And it's a really cool way to learn history. I really recommend you check it out. And that's all over at historybombs.com. Right, let's crack on with the final one. Yeah, we've got one more round to go. Brace yourself. Here we go. And this round is called One Take Wonders, and it's all about the History Bombs one take videos on YouTube. So yeah, if you've watched those videos once or twice, then this round's for you. Here we go. Okay, there's 3 questions here. Question 13, and each of these 3 questions, there's a quote from one of the figures, one of the actors in the one takes, and you've got to tell me who it is. So question number 13, who said this in the World War I video? Men of Britain, there's much to do. Your time is now. Your country needs you. Was that A, Winston Churchill, B, Field Marshal Kitchener, or C, General Montgomery? History of World War I in one take. Men of Britain, there's much to do. Your time is now. Your country needs you. Was it A, Winston Churchill, B, Field Marshal Kitchener, or C, General Montgomery? Okay. Moving on then to question 14. Here we go. My fellow Americans, there's a Soviet mover to put a boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba. Who said that in the history of the Cold War in one take? Was it A, Harry Truman, B, John F. Kennedy, or C, Richard Nixon? My fellow Americans, there's a Soviet mover to put a boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba. What could he be referencing there? And who was president at the time? Was it A, Harry Truman, B, John F. Kennedy, or C, Richard Nixon? All right. Moving on then to question 15. Silly French, I have no time for dirigibles. It's time for the fundamental principles of flight, said by the mighty Peter Ward. Shout out to Peter Ward. As which historical figure in the history of aviation in one take? Was he A, Leonardo da Vinci, B, Wilbur Wright, or C, George Cayley? Silly French, I have no time for dirigibles. It's time for the fundamental principles of flight. A, Leonardo da Vinci, B, Wilbur Wright, or C, George Cayley? That one was the first ever one-take video filmed ages ago, and still one of my favourites, actually. I like it. Don't know if you do, but I do. Right. Okay. These next three questions relate to things that you might have seen in the videos. So, question 16. In the history of the Cold War in one take video, what type of plane was on the runway outside the hangar doors? Was it A, a Lockheed P-80, a B, a Spitfire, or C, a Harrier jump jet? You have to be very eagle-eyed to see this. It's also not in official military colours because it was a training plane. But anyway, it's also at night. There's many reasons why this is a hard question. Impressed if you get this right. In the history of the Cold War in one take video, what type of plane was on the runway outside the hangar doors? A, a Lockheed P-80, B, a Spitfire, or C, a Harrier jump jet? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. The next one is question 17. In the history of the Vikings in one take, which island did the Vikings arrive at first? Was it A, Lindisfarne, B, the Isle of Lewis, or C, the Isle of Man? History of the Vikings in one take video. In the first scene with the Vikings, where are they? Are they on the holy island of Lindisfarne? Are they on the Isle of Lewis or the Isle of Man? If you know your British geography and you know where those islands are, then that puts you in good stead. Okay, and the final question, question number 18, in the history of World War II in one take, in which country are the two Australian soldiers? They're talking about going into battle. This is a scene towards the end of the video. Where are those two Australian soldiers? Are they A, in Turkey, B, in France, or C, in Egypt? Great. Well done, everyone. History of World War II in one take. In which country are the two Australian soldiers? A, Turkey, B, France, or C, Egypt? Great. Okay, I'll just run through those quickly, and then I need to stop actually, and I need to take a look at the website and see what's gone on there and who has completed. And then, yeah, then I'll have to send out some prizes. I won't be able to tell you who's won just yet, but I can tell you soon. So those last 6 questions then, history of World War I in one take. Men of Britain, there's much to do. Your time is now. Your country needs you. Which character was that? A. Winston Churchill, B. Field Marshal Kitchener, or C. General Montgomery? Question number 14, history of the Cold War. My fellow Americans, as the Soviet move were to put a boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba. A. Harry Truman, B. John F. Kennedy, or C. Richard Nixon. 15, history of aviation. Silly French, I have no time for dirigibles. It's time for the fundamental principles of flight. Was that A. Leonardo da Vinci, B. Wilbur Wright, or George Cayley? C. History of the Cold War video. What type of plane was on the runway outside the hangar doors? Was it a Lockheed P-80, a Spitfire, or a Harrier jump jet? A. Lockheed P-80, B. Spitfire, or C. Harrier jump jet? 17. In the history of the Vikings video, which island did the Vikings arrive at first? A. Lindisfarne, B. Lewis, or C. the Isle of Man? And finally, in the history of World War II, in which country are the 2 Australian soldiers? Are they A. in Turkey, B. in France, or C. in Egypt? Great, well done everyone. I can see some scores in the comment section. If I refresh my report on the website, I should be able to see what's happened there. Brillo, I can see over 100 people completed it. Super impressive, guys. Well done. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to have to go in and look at this in some detail, but yeah, I can see a lot of people have completed it, which is super cool. Sadly, I can't see the final score, the final scores on the site at the moment, but I'll have to go through, run a report, and then I can do that. So well done. Right. Okay, if everyone wants to stop, I'm sure you've answered online, so you can't go back through and complete it. So well done. I will quickly run through the answers now. People are saying they got 11 out of 18, 12 out of 18 from Simon Palmer. That's a very strong score. This was quite a hard quiz. Very, very well done. 13 out of 18, 16 out of 18, John Patrick. Oof, strong. If I can verify that, then that is likely to be a winning score, I'd say. Jacob Boneno, 9 out of 18, bad luck. I did poorly, however, I had fun. Good, I'm glad you had fun. I enjoyed it as well, actually. So we'll have to do some more of these, I think. I'll have to write some more, and this could be like a weekly thing. So yeah, well done everyone. I will just do a quick run through the answers, and then I'll say goodbye and then wish you a lovely weekend. But right, starting at the beginning then, the pandemic rounds. Spanish flu. Which country reported the first outbreak of the flu? It was C, USA. It was reported first in America. Interestingly, it was called Spanish flu because, well, largely because Spain was one of the neutral countries in World War I that didn't have a media blackout. A lot of countries did, and they were suppressing news about the flu pandemic for morale. They didn't want to affect morale. Spain didn't really mind too much. So a lot of the countries were only reading about reports about the pandemic from the media outlets in Spain, and so they assumed it had come from Spain. But that's not particularly true. So it was called the Spanish flu, but anyway, C, USA. Question 2, Christopher Columbus. This is an interesting one. I'm sure I grew up thinking Christopher Columbus was British. I just kind of assumed he was, but he definitely wasn't. He was C, Italian. He was born in Italy and he died in Spain. So Christopher Columbus was Italian. Question number 3, 1347. Which pandemic responsible for killing 1/3 of the global population was the Black Death? Bubonic plague, absolutely horrendous. So yeah, 1/3 of the global population, amazing. Question number 4, first cholera pandemic in 1817. It originated in Russia and it was spread by the British Navy. So that was B, the British Navy. Question number 5, the Great Plague of London. Which animals were killed because they were thought to transmit the plague? It was A, dogs and cats. No suggestion that bats were involved. But seemingly bats have been quite involved in our current predicament. So it was A, dogs and cats. Question number 6, 165 AD, the Antonine Plague killed Marcus Aurelius. In fact, this plague is named after him because his first full name was Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antoninus Augustus. So they took the Antony, it was also called, yes, other things, but yes, so the Antonine Plague is after Antoninus Augustus. Apologies if my pronunciation's not very good there. Historical hobbies. Winston Churchill was interested in painting. There he is, doing his painting. Winston Churchill was a painter in his spare time, which he did throughout his life. Arthur Conan Doyle, this was a bit of a strange one because I realise now actually he did play football. He played as a goalkeeper, but he was famous for publicising skiing. And there he is in the middle there in the shades and the white top. This looks very, very cool. It was quite a niche sport at the time. And he did a lot by writing about it in the British press to publicise it, certainly within Britain. Jane Austen, she was involved in brewing. Brewing was traditionally a female pastime. Female brewers are called brewsters or alewives. I learned that today. So yes, brewsters or alewives were ladies that brewed beer, were doing it for thousands of years, and it was a common pastime for women to take part in brewing beer. So it's not like Jane Austen was particularly special in that pastime, but it's something that she would have done. John Montagu, Earl of Sandwich, famous for inventing the sandwich. He was also a prolific gambler. The reason he invented, this is an interesting one because I remember hearing when I first learned about this story, I thought he was involved in military campaigns, and so he needed sandwiches because he was on horseback and he couldn't fuel up very easily. Apparently that's nonsense. Apparently he was a gambler and he was always at the tables gambling, and he wanted something that he could eat quickly and stay gambling. So he invented the sandwich. So yeah, there you go, John Montagu, 4th Earl of Sandwich. Question number 11, George III, known for going mad. As a young man, he was really interested in astronomy, which was, something that he was very, very passionate about. Science and art, he was very, very heavily involved in. He also collected 80,000 books. And if you're in London, I mean, not at the moment, you can't go, but if you go to the British Library, and at the centre of the British Library is the King's Library, and this huge multi-storey central glass column with his incredible book collection. These are all George III's books, 80,000 leather-bound books. Unbelievable. And I'd so highly recommend it. Go to the British Library, check out his books. It's just an incredible spectacle. What a collection. I'm not sure how many of them he actually read, but he liked collecting them, that's for sure. He was also involved in bee astronomy. And 12, Aloysius Anthony Kelly, 1920s and 30s. He was C, a pole sitter, a very weird pastime. I don't think this really spread beyond America. Maybe it did. I don't know much about pole sitting. But there he is, an early example of self-isolation up a pole. And he would apparently rent flats with viewing distance, within viewing range of where he was going to do his stunts. And then people would rent out the flats to watch him sit on a pole. So yeah, he did quite well for himself, I think. So there he is, Aloysius Anthony Kelly. He was a pole sitter. Okay, and finally the last round. One take wonders. Men of Britain, there's much to do. Your time is now. Your country needs you. Was Herbert Horatio or Horatio Herbert Kitchener, Field Marshal Kitchener, in his epic rallying cry, very famous on the posters, your country needs you. That was him. It was B, Field Marshal Kitchener. Question number 14. Boatload of nukes on the island of Cuba was, of course, JFK, acted by the wonderful Barnaby Jago. And look at him, superb. Great lines, great performance. That was a real highlight of that video. Obviously referencing the Soviets moving their nuclear weapons to Cuba during the Cold War, which brought tensions to a massive head. And the Soviet missile crisis happened, which nearly threatened the entire planet. Thankfully, everyone climbed down and it was all fine. History of aviation, question number 15. Silly French, I have no time for dirigibles. It's time for the fundamental principles of flight. Was George Cayley. C. George Cayley, that picture in the background is George Cayley's butler, acted there in the background by Edward Gamble Esquire. He actually broke his legs, I think, his butler. And yeah, but it was George Cayley. Yeah, so the next one was history of aviation. Sorry, well, no, it wasn't. Which plane was in the Cold War video? In the background there, that is a training version of a Harrier jump jet. We were actually meant to get a Lockheed P-33, I think, which was an early prototype of the jet plane, which became the P-80, which was the first supersonic production jet in the American Army, I believe, or American Air Force. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's true. Anyway, we couldn't get that plane for a number of reasons, and this plane was on the airfield, and it was in the area, and we very kindly got to use it. So yeah, super amazing plane, Harrier jump jet. If you haven't seen them taking off, Google it, watch a YouTube video of it. It's super amazing. They can take off vertically, land vertically. Incredible amounts of energy and force generated. Really cool plane. Definitely involved in Cold War, not as early as the Lockheed P-80, but super cool. The Vikings, they went to Lindisfarne, so 17 was A, Lindisfarne, and finally these guys were getting ready for the Battle of El Alamein, which was in Egypt. So that is the end of the quiz. Thank you very much indeed for watching, everyone, and for taking part. And 100 of you have done the quiz. I will go through your answers and I will then send out prizes to the top 3. Watch out for a post probably on our Instagram account, and I will also write personally to the people who have won. And I will also give you a shout out in the next quiz. So if this is a good time slot, if this worked for everyone, I will try and do this on a weekly basis. So maybe I'll see you back here this time next week for another History Bombs quiz. Until then, have a lovely weekend, stay safe, look after each other, and keep learning. And yeah, if you want to learn some cool history in the meantime, check out historybombs.com. You can sign up for a £5 account, and there's hours of really cool History Bombs videos that you haven't seen yet because they're not on YouTube and they're all on the website. So go check them out. That's your weekend sorted. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.